Hello, and welcome to On My Shelf. Today I'm talking about a sweet, sad, beautiful middle grade story about the power of family, the enduring nature of friendship, and early onset Alzheimer's. The Space Between Lost and Found by Sandy Stark-Mcginnis is a story about Cassie, whose mother was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. Cassie watches her mother decline and misses the vibrant, full of ideas mom she used to be. She tries hard to keep her mom happy, but mom keeps fading. And Cassie decides it's time for one last adventure, no matter what it takes. Sandy Stark-Mcginnis is also the author of Extraordinary Birds, which I loved as much as this one. The Space Between Lost and Found was sweet, heartbreaking, and so lovely. Cassie felt like a very real representation of a kid who's watching her mother's memories fade. She tries her hardest to preserve those memories through drawings and collages. She wants to keep things the same as much as she can, but the disease has control. She takes her mother for walks, tries to get her to go out on outings with her and her father, but she has to come to terms with the disease changing things. I also really loved that the book had friendship gone awry. In her sadness, Cassie pushed away a friend, and that felt very authentic to her journey. When we're sad, some of us tend to push people away. Cassie didn't want her best friend to see her mom because when someone bears witness to something like illness, that makes it real. I also really loved that Cassie took action, even if it wasn't the right or the best action. But she wanted so badly for her mother to have good experiences while she could. She spoke up when it counted, and I loved that she could be brave. There were several things I enjoyed about The Space Between Lost and Found from a craft perspective, too. The first was metaphors and symbols. Stark-Mcginnis used Cassie's mother's connection with dolphins as a symbolic reminder of memory. Cassie would wish her mother was a dolphin because they have long memories. It was a subtle way to refer to memory without bogging the reader down with the actual term all the time. She also used short chapters and sections. I feel like this is becoming a theme in my craft sections, but kids love short chapters. It lets them bite off a piece at a time. It's yet another reminder to keep my chapters short so kids can read them on their own time. It also has a symbolic title. The Space Between Lost and Found is where Cassie and her mother are. I love that about this title. It was the perfect title for the book. So here are some things we can take away from The Space Between Lost and Found as writers and as people. Number one, don't be afraid of tough topics. Early onset Alzheimer's is not an easy topic for a middle grade book, but there are kids likely dealing with a parent's diagnosis. We can't protect them from these difficult topics because they live with them every day. It's a reminder that kids are much more resilient than we give them credit for. So we can approach these tough topics so they feel less alone, and so the ones who aren't experiencing it learn another reality exists. Number two, remember forgiveness. I love forgiveness stories. Cassie was mad at her mother for getting Alzheimer's, but ultimately, she had to come to terms with that. She was mad at her dad for not letting her mom do some of the things she wanted to do. She had to forgive him for it and understand the intention behind his refusal. None of that was explicit. It was all an undercurrent running through the book. This reminded me to use emotions in less obvious ways, too. Readers pick up on what's not explicitly said. Number three, take care with titles. Like I said, The Space Between Lost and Found was perfect for this book. It reminded me to take great care with my titles and fill them with metaphor and symbolism where I can and where it makes sense. A title is the first taste of the story that readers get. So don't just slap a title on it. Think about it long and hard. And that's it for today's On My Shelf. If you want to hear a writer's perspective on books, TV shows, and movies, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching.